Hello, and thank you for clicking on this C&D video. The focus of this video is to provide greater clarity and detail concerning the district's position on the use of Bloom's taxonomy and the Department of Education's DOK, or depth of knowledge, when designing instruction and assessments. Bloom's was originally created in 1956 by a group of educators chaired by Benjamin Bloom. Bloom's taxonomy classifies skills from the least to the most complex. Since the original Bloom's pyramid was created, some changes have actually been made to that pyramid, and the current pyramid looks like this. With the ability to create a new product or point of view as this is the pinnacle of cognitive development. See creating up here. A quick review of Bloom's taxonomy will give us a little bit of an understanding of this pyramid. You can see that remembering is at the bottom end, or the lowest level of cognitive skill, and remembering requires students to recall or remember information. Understanding, students can explain ideas or concepts. Applying is the use of information in a new way. Then we see a little bit of a break there, and I'll explain that break here in a few moments. But analyzing is next. We can, when students can distinguish between different parts. Evaluating, when a student is able to justify a stand or decision. And creating, when a student can create a new product or point of view. Now, the reason that we have this break in the middle of our chart here is to kind of separate out level our depth of knowledge, DOK 4, which is the Department of Education's labeling for the higher end of Bloom's taxonomy. It is the district's position that DOK 4 is equivalent to analyzing, evaluating, and creating, as you can see on this chart. Quick review of DOK levels by the Department of Education. We go with level 1, which is recall or remembering. Level 2, skill, concept, and comprehension under understanding. And level 3, strategic thinking, explaining, and generalizing with applying. If you look carefully at the district's diagram here, you will see on the left-hand side, by analyzing, evaluating, and creating, the word always. And that represents how often students should be engaged at this level when being instructed on essential learning objectives or power standards. Every student should be engaged at this level at some point when learning a power standard. We believe as a district that this is absolutely critical for students to be engaged at this level in order that they truly master the essential learning. We believe without engaging students at these 3 levels on our power standards, we are likely not actually getting our students to master that learning objective. So when it comes to power standards, if we're only doing remembering, understanding, and applying, we're not taking that to the depth of knowledge or understanding or the cognitive depths that we really need to with our students. We also believe it's very important then when creating assessments, we take a look at Bloom's and think about how to employ it. While students will not always be able to be assessed at level 4, DOK 4, they should be when such an assessment is appropriate. So at times, it will be appropriate for us to use an assessment that asks students to analyze, evaluate, and create. However, it's not always going to be possible to do this simply because it's not always going to be appropriate. But when it is, we would like students to be engaged at this level on our assessments. It's also well understood that when we do assessments, almost always we're going to assess students at DOK levels 1, 2, and 3, or remembering, understanding, and applying. It's inherent to assessments. It does provide us information that is necessary for the teacher to understand student understanding of the level or mastery of the material. So we should always be employing a DOK 1, 2, and 3 when doing assessment. Something that you're going to find in research at this time is Bloom's 21. Bloom's 21, or flipped Bloom's, is a practice that teachers are employing across the nation, and researchers are actually researching as a more effective way of employing Bloom's. And what it is requiring is for us to change the way, or the traditional methods by which teachers engage students. Traditionally, teachers would have students start out at remembering and then move through the triangle towards creating, towards the higher end of cognitive skill. Bloom's 21 is asking teachers, or Flip Bloom's is asking teachers to start with creating, evaluating, and analyzing, and then having students get information or understanding that is necessary for them to complete a project or to truly understand or give a good evaluation. So they're using the information to strengthen their analyzing, evaluating, and creating development or skill. So it's something to think about and do a little bit of independent research on. I just had this flip up onto the screen for you real quick. You do a quick Google search on flipping Bloom's taxonomy or something along those lines, and you can find some information out there that it might be really, really useful to you when creating your instruction. And something that actually will get students probably a little bit more motivated and a little bit more engaged in learning right off the get-go. All right, that is all I really have for this C&D video. I hope it is helpful. If you have any questions concerning Bloom's taxonomy, the district's position, or any other issue, feel free to give me a call or send me an email. Thanks.